Hi, and welcome to meshKube. You're ready to run internal development platform for Kubernetes. In just a few clicks, your application teams can get a fully working Kubernetes environment, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what that looks like and how it works behind the scenes. So you don't have to build an internal development platform from scratch. We will provide you with a template and you can take it from there. It's completely out of the box. The only thing you have to do is connect a GitHub organization of your choice and we'll take care of the rest. And with that, you'll have a completely drift-free infrastructure. So everything involved is in Terraform, Kubernetes YAML files, and we also provide the CI/CD that you need. And with that, you can provide your teams a golden path, which is a consistent, repeatable, and easy workflow, and it's based on our open source and best practice modules. All right, so let's dive right in and look at this from the application team perspective. So application teams typically start in the marketplace. This is where all the internal services that a platform team might offer are available. And for meshKube, we are particularly interested in the AKS starter kit service. This one we will provide you with completely. We do all of the groundwork. It will be there directly. So you can open it up and have a read what that means exactly. So what is included? So we'll get a pre-configured Kubernetes environment based on best practices. And we also get the Git repository and GitHub Actions CI/CD included, as well as a secure container registry. So let's add this to our workspace. We only have to enter a name. Let's go with heavy developing. And let's add this to our workspace. All right, that has successfully run in the meantime. And we basically now get a summary of what has been provisioned and what I can do next as a developer. So just again, we received a GitHub repository. We received 2 projects, one for dev and one for prod. As part of that, there is also a namespace for each environment, so a dev and a prod namespace. And we also have the GitHub Actions connector building block running in the background, and that one set up a Kubernetes service account and also made sure that the container registry is usable. So the GitHub repository by default comes with an example Angular frontend and a Node.js backend. It also contains 2 Docker files. It contains deployment files and other things necessary for Kubernetes to work. And it also contains a working GitHub Actions CI/CD pipeline. So if we go back to the overview, we can once again have a view on exactly what was provisioned. So we have the starter kit, we have the GitHub repository, and the 2 namespaces and GitHub connector building blocks. As you can see, if you click on this link, we actually have a running Angular application, and the little text here is actually showing also that the Node.js application is running as well. And we can also see that in GitHub. So here is all of our source code that's running. And we're directly enabled to make changes. So let's go ahead and open up the Node.js API file and just make a example change. Developing, commit that change. And that should directly trigger the GitHub Actions that has been already set up. So as we can see here, it's now triggering a GitHub Actions CI/CD. All right, so the GitHub Actions meanwhile finished running, as you can see. And if we open up the Angular app and reload it, we can see that the change has actually been applied. So it has been deployed to the Kubernetes namespace. Right, so you might be wondering, so how does all of this actually work in the background? And from a very high level point of view, the following is happening. So we have the user on the left triggering the AKS starter kit. And the starter kit orchestrates all kinds of resources. So at the top, we have the workspace in meshKube, which gets 2 new projects, the development project and the production project. And these 2 projects provision a new namespace in the Kubernetes cluster that we have running. And that gives us those 2 namespaces. And then we also have a GitHub repository that gets set up, and all of the secrets and environment variables get injected by the connector. And that basically ensures we have a working CI/CD pipeline both for dev and for prod. So all of this in the background runs via Terraform, and you can actually find those modules on our Meshtech hub. So if you go to hub.meshcloud.io, you can find all kinds of open source modules we have developed. And today we actually looked at the AKS starter kit. So we can open it up in GitHub, and we'll actually be able to see the source code that's running behind this. So if you open up the main TF, you can see it creates a project 2 times, it adds the users, it creates the namespaces, it creates a building block for the repository, and it creates those 2 building blocks to connect the GitHub repository with the Kubernetes cluster to have the CI/CD pipeline running. All right, so if you're interested, you can sign up for a free trial. It's completely free of charge. We will do all of the heavy lifting. So we'll provide you with the AKS starter kit. We'll get the cluster provisioned, everything else. The only thing you have to do is connect your GitHub organization of choice. That's very simple. We'll send you over a link that's something like this. You just enter the name of your GitHub organization, create a GitHub app, and that should be everything needed to have meshKube up and running for you.